Welcome to another weekend, another playlist of chair shot reality here on WrestlingInc.com. I'm Justin LeBar here in downtown Pittsburgh, Point Park University Studios. Joining me down from sunny Fort Lauderdale, Florida, he is the other CSR original. He is Mr. Josh Eisenberg. Josh, you are freshly back from the city of brotherly love, Philadelphia, where they had a big 4-day Rumble weekend for WWE. You were there. You were in person. You were part of history when Ronda Rousey makes her official debut, we could say, as a talent. You thought this came off well there in the Wells Fargo Center, correct?
Live in the Wells Fargo Center, the only thing for maybe 3 or 4 seconds that didn't come off clear was the beginning of her song. And people were not obviously familiar with the song. The general fan wouldn't know the Bad Reputation song, even if she used it in UFC or not. But after that, after the name came on the screen and she actually walked out, I mean, the crowd was in shock. Because for so long, WWE was trying to say she was in Colombia. She was not going to make it to the Royal Rumble, which I even said days before. It's too obvious that Rousey is too popular and too active on Twitter and social media right now that she's in Colombia. But being there live, the only thing that I would have changed is putting the music on before the graphics, because when the camera panned out, the graphics were already there. So it just was a little oddly timed. But overall, I thought it was great, you know. You gave Asuka her moment. People saying that Asuka's moment was stolen is complete ridiculousness. She pointed at the WrestleMania sign. She won the first ever Royal Rumble. But of course, any woman ever in the history of professional wrestling would be overshadowed by Ronda Rousey's debut.
I'm happy Rousey is here. I don't want that to be lost in my explanation. But I do think it stole something away from Asuka. I disagree with the...
Come on, LeBar.
No, look, I disagree with the fans and maybe even the other WWE performers who, if they actually think that it's bad that Ronda's here and that she's going to steal a spot, that's all ridiculous. But I do think, let Asuka have that moment. Let Ronda show up on Raw or SmackDown. There was no need. I mean, they needed a big finish, yes, because they put that Rumble match last. But still, let Rousey come on Raw or SmackDown. I had a problem too with the way that it came off on TV. Part of what you said, they pulled the camera off. The cameraman actually moved in the ring, and you could all of a sudden see now the entrance screen, and I could see her name. And then all of a sudden, they then just tried to keep it on all the fans, and it just came off bad. I wish they would have never even shown the graphic on the screen. I wish you would have just heard the song, heard people standing up, seen people standing up. It just came off weird. And Ronda gets in the ring. She's smirking. She points to the sign. She stares at the girl, point to the sign. Look at the baby. Look at the baby. I don't know what the hell was going on. It came off really...
It came off odd because I think the cameraman and the timing was a little off. I mean, but think about it like this. This isn't the first time that's happened. How about AJ Styles' debut? Was there a worse camera angle than Styles' debut? You're just looking at Roman Reigns' face and not knowing what this song was, but they saw the phenomenal name, and then you heard the crowd reaction. I can't agree with you saying that it's, I mean, Asuka's moment, okay. Like,
in 10 years.
But why do you think, but hold on, but why do you think that they should have saved her for Raw or SmackDown? Monday morning pressers all over ESPN, all over Sports Illustrated, CNN, everywhere. You want to see Monday morning when you wake up going to work that WWE is a top headline. You wouldn't have seen it as much on Tuesday or the following week. This is the second biggest pay-per-view of the year. If you don't debut Rousey at WrestleMania, you debut her at the Royal Rumble. No need for her to be an NXT talent that's treated like a Monday or Tuesday surprise.
I'm not going to argue on the business logic of, yes, they were all over the news cycle Monday morning. I get that. I just feel like maybe there's another way they could have unveiled this. Maybe Asuka wins. Maybe we get a Rousey graphic with a teaser, you know, making us or something that says "Tune in Raw." I don't know.
You're better than that, LeBar. You're more creative than that. Come on, man.
I'm thinking on the fly here. But let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. In 10 years from now, what do you maybe not you, because you remember what tights these guys wear. I don't know how you do that.
That is true.
When Joe Schmo, when I asked them in 10 years, what do you remember more about the first ever Women's Royal Rumble in 2018? What do you think the average Joe Schmo is going to remember? Asuka winning, or if they remember that Asuka won, or Ronda's appearance?
I'll give you one better. Who's ever going to overshadow Ronda Rousey ever in professional wrestling?
Well,
nobody.
Well,
it's a different breed now because Ronda Rousey is Brock Lesnar before Brock Lesnar was in WWE. So picture it like this. You have the biggest star in the world. You have here we go. Here's a good part. You have the biggest professional athlete in the NFL going to the XFL. That's what this is. You're going from a real sport, something that's been established and unfortunately has overshadowed WWE for so long, and now she's going to professional wrestling.
Look,
that name, no matter if she's won or lost the past 3 matches, that name is bigger than any other woman in the history of professional wrestling because she's real.
You might be exaggerating a little bit there with your comparison example. I mean, look, if this was 2 years ago when Ronda's really on everybody, I mean, a little bit of time has died off from Ronda Rousey being the top pop culture thing. She's still a big deal, don't get me wrong, and the news cycle shows it. I mean, she's got a really good MMA line of work to look at. If you don't just focus on the last 2 fights, she's got a really good line of work to look at. I mean, she's sexy and lethal. I mean, she's got everything you want. If you're in the entertainment visual business, but this is not 2 years ago. There has been a little bit died down. So I mean, I think your comparison of top NFL player to the XFL a little bit.
Well, but do you think that anybody could overshadow a Ronda Rousey debut
right now
in women ever?
It's hard to say ever.
It's not going to happen.
It's hard to say.
It's not going
It's hard to say ever.
She revolutionized female athletic competition like nobody else ever has in 100 years. She's bigger than Trish Stratus. She's bigger than everybody that's come before her because she's not a WWE fake product.
No, you're right. She is similar to what Brock Lesnar was before, earlier in his career. So I'll give you that. But I don't know. I just feel the way they unveiled it on Sunday, I just wasn't crazy about. But nonetheless, I am happy that she's here. A lot of speculation now about what's coming next. When do we see her next? Will they advertise it? And of course, you assume WrestleMania will be her first match. Coming up next, myself, Juice, and the debuting Katie Arquette will talk about Ronda Rousey at WrestleMania, what that match is going to be. We'll also talk about more of the Women's Royal Rumble big picture moving forward. Don't go anywhere.